nothing to do with that pile of boards I live in. It is all to do with the folks around me, from my neighbors to my family or that guy on the street. We love our folks, from the farmer to the mailman to our family at church. We love our country and our hometown and our neighbors on the street. That is love in the South. Even if you were passing through, you are not a stranger here. If you look around, you will see the smiles and feel the welcome shining in their eyes. Because when you are here, you are one of us. We love our folks, from the farmer to the mailman to our family at church. We love our country and our hometown and our neighbors on the street. That is love in the South. We love our God and our church. We practice what they teach to honor Him and His grace freely offered. We offer that love to you. We love our folks, from the farmer to the mailman to our family at church. We love our country and our hometown, to our neighbors on the street. That is love in the South. We love our God and our church. We practice what they teach to honor Him and His grace freely offered. We offer that love to you. We love our folks, from the farmer to the mailman to our family at church. We love our country and our hometown, to our neighbors on the street. That is love in the South.
Well, hello, everybody. How are y'all doing tonight? Welcome to Love Endures Ministry on the Southern Pride Podcast. Hey, Joe and Donna, how are y'all?
Oh, we're good.
Good to see you.
I thought I heard a kitty cat
I did
in the
too.
background.
Yes, Roxy's starting to fuss. She's starting to do that every night I get on. She starts fussing.
Oh, the putty cat.
Yes.
Kitty cat.
Oh, I don't know what is wrong with her, but
Now she's a star. She wants to be heard.
yes.
Well, it's good to be here, and it's good to see you tonight.
Yes, good to see y'all too. So, I hope y'all have had a good week.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It was busy, but it was good.
Yeah.
It's going quickly. I can't believe today's the 9th already.
I know, it's just like buzzing on by.
You can believe 1/4 of the year's gone already. I can't believe.
And
Yes.
we'll be in Texas almost a whole year.
At the end of the
Come
month.
the 29th of this month, it'll be 1 year. It seemed hard to believe we've been gone from Georgia that long.
Yes.
It's
That
a lot
is.
too.
Yeah. Who would know we'd be through a heart transplant with Joe and a neck surgery for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Wow.
have to tell people what this is when they get scared.
this bone density stimulator. It's so you wear it 4 hours a day, and it's supposed to help the bone heal quicker. The bone where they did the cervical, but they replaced some discs in my neck, and I guess they removed one from my spine, and they boxed in a few other ones so that they fused in so they wouldn't collapse as well as this one did.
Oh, yes.
And so the bone takes time to heal. And the stimulator, I have to wear for 6 to 9 months.
It's like electrodes
It's
running around here in the
electrodes
back here.
running around my neck. And it's just so peculiar to think that can actually heal your neck, while you're walking around with this on. But I'll let y'all know how it works. I'll be getting a
Yeah,
report
she
soon.
only wears this about 4 hours a day.
Yeah, this is the box and stuff,
She's the actual brace, a
and the
neck
brace
brace.
is back here. I can't believe that the electrodes go through this collar I'm having to wear.
Yeah.
You think you would have to have this off to get the effect, but they said no. It actually goes right through this, and anyway, maybe it'll heal some other bones that might need healing. That's all I can say. But I'm glad
Yes.
to be here and to be a part of the ministry and be able to get with you all on Thursdays with Joe. And it's just such a privilege to be in your presence and Robert's and just to meet with the followers, and answer questions. And I hope that they'll continue to ask questions and because we're happy to respond to anything that they're interested in hearing about and get our perspective on it. We'll be happy to bring up any topics that they're interested in hearing about.
Yes.
Yeah, tonight we are continuing our discussion from 2 weeks ago about caretaking. And Jen, you weren't here the last time, but we'd love to share your insight on it as well because you're going through the same thing, I believe. And
Yes.
And we would like to hear any issues particularly that you're having and, any help that you've been able to get to assist you, in what you're doing for your mom.
and for those of you who happened to miss the show 2 weeks ago, once this show concludes, go back to the first one just to catch up and see what you've missed. There was a lot of good, important information there, especially legally that you need to be aware of, and we advise that you will consult with an attorney in terms of asset protection and elder law. And so, suppose that you make sure your I's are dotted and T's are crossed before you make any moves.
Yes. We'll make sure we repost that this weekend and then repost this one out after that. So
Yeah, that should be cool.
get them. But yeah, I've been watching after mom since dad passed away. I mean, they were together. They were married for 50 years, and so
Wow.
they were. And when they retired, oh, like I forgot what year it was. It was a long time ago. They retired early. They were always together, pretty much all
Yeah.
the time. So it was just. And I had already lost my job in 2016. They passed away like 8 months later.
Oh, well.
So it was just like, you know, I had to take care of her. And I've always been, you know, a daddy's girl and mama girl. I've never really been away from the house. So it's just, I'm attached.
Oh, of course. I know, and it makes it hard, when they have no, they just have you, when you lose your spouse, it's difficult anyway, especially after 50 years. That's amazing. Bet she has a lot of good stories that she can share, you know,
Yes.
how they kept it going for 50 years, and there's some tips because young people need to know this stuff, you know, how, we've experienced a lot of things too, and we like to share that, with people we counsel, just to let them know, that we're all human and we all go through ups and downs in our life. And I feel like it's a privilege to be able to care for our parents when they're older and they need help. Um, they deserve the best care they can get, and I think nobody can give them as best care as their own families. You know.
Yes. We also took care of my grandmother. She lived with us for probably maybe a year,
Hmm.
but it got too much on mom and daddy because I was working then. And dad pretty much took like the day shift and mom took the night shift. And
Yeah.
but it was hard. And daddy was doing some traveling. And so there was a couple of times that my grandmother fell. Luckily, she didn't get hurt. and and I was there, but it was just kind of like, okay, and so we ended up having to put her in a nursing home, and but Mama checked on her twice a day. She was over there in the mornings and evenings, and then if they had to go out of town, of course, her younger sister would come up, and then I was here too, but. It was tough because she ended up starting to get dementia and stuff, and she of course she wanted to go home, and that just about killed me. I'll be like, I'll be back, I'll be back, and I'll be calling my aunt. I'm like, oh my God, she wants to go home, and I just don't know what to do. And she's like, it's okay, Jen, but it killed me
Yeah,
to
it's
leave,
very,
to leave her.
yeah.
So, but we did think she would make it long in the nursing home, but she ended up being in there 10 years.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
So.
By going in there and checking on her was really the only way to be sure that she was getting the right care.
Oh yes, they dreaded seeing my mama come. They saw her walking down the hall toward the office, they'd be like, "What's wrong now?" And Mama boy, she'd go at it.
Yeah.
I mean, she stayed on them.
You got to.
You have to. We noticed that when we did our nursing home ministry, a lot of these people got bad bed sores, and we would end up going to see them in the hospital. And I mean, that should never have happened if we're paying this kind of money, to have her
Well,
there.
they're charging that kind of money.
They're charging that kind of money, and they're not even, rotating them in the bed or giving them mattress that would rotate them and things like that to prevent the bed sores. And
Yes.
one of the patients, I mean, she actually died from the bed sores. I mean, it was severe. And the family never thought to look at her skin.
Yeah.
They visit her, but they never said, "Look, Mama, let me look at your back, and let me check your skin or anything." And it should have never happened.
Yes. I mean, luckily my grandmother had some good CNAs, and I mean, there's one we can still see out today after all these years, and she'll be like, "Oh, hey, Miss Terry, how are you?" So we did have some good ones, but there were still times that we had to get on to them about stuff, move, and everything. But
Yeah.
so I just hope that don't happen with my mom, because I mean, I am the only child, so, but because she's not a good patient.
Yeah.
When she
Neither
fell,
is ours.
huh?
Neither
What,
is,
Joe?
neither
Yeah.
is ours.
So yeah, so when she fell and broke her ankle, it was horrible. I mean, she spent like 2 weeks in the hospital, and they did surgery, and then she had to go to like rehab and stuff, and it was horrible. And she was like seeing people, because she'd be like, "You just walked over your great grandmother." And I was like, okay, so it was bad. And I had to do all this stuff at home. We had to have a ramp built, but I wasn't sure when I got her home. I'm like, well, how am I supposed to take care of her? It's just me, and she's not supposed to put no weight on it. But we brought her home, and luckily when she got home, she did do better, and we just did the best we could. And I did have somebody to come help through a company, because I was working cleaning the house really all week long, and the company was expensive, and it's like we didn't have that kind of money. But so the girl was like, "Jenna, hey, how much are they charging you?" And I told her, and she was like, "I'll do it cheaper than that."
Yeah.
She said, "I will do it like half of that," and she did, and she was wonderful. And I mean, we still, now, she helps me clean and stuff. Hey, Jake, how are you doing? So, we still stay in touch with her and everything. And if I have questions, because she works in a nursing home right now in the memory care thing, and if something's going on with Mama, I'll be like, "Hey, this is happening," and she'll tell me, "Well, you need to do this," or whatever. So it's great to have her.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been blessed to find caretakers for Josephine since Donna can no longer be a full-time caretaker. We find
I
some-
can't, she's she's bedridden and
Yes.
in a diaper, and I can't lift more than 5 pounds, and she's 160. And
Yes.
I'm 120, and so I can't move her around. I can't pull her up in the bed. I can't really move her from side to side, because of her weight. She's like a dead weight. So,
Mm-hmm.
in addition to having her on hospice, We also have a lady that comes 2 hours in the morning, and she required that because she's a distance away, the minimum with 2 hours, because it takes her maybe 40 minutes even to get here.
Yes.
And so she wouldn't work for less than 2 hours. And so we pay her in the morning, Monday to Friday. And then we have the regular CNA comes around middle of the day, like 2:30 or 3 o'clock, and she changes her too. And then we have a lady that comes that's local that lives in our neighborhood. We advertised on the neighborhood website,
Mm-hmm.
and
Facebook page.
oh, it's a Facebook page for our
Yeah.
neighborhood, and we were able to find a young lady that she's about 30.
About 5 minutes away.
She lives 5 minutes from us, and she's looking for some part-time work. She works at a hospital already in Dallas, but she was looking to make some extra money on the side, so she's coming like between 7 and 8 at night, and also coming weekends twice a day to help us morning and evening.
That's good.
So that's a blessing, and we only have to pay her for the hour because she's right around the corner.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay travel or gas,
Yeah.
expenses for her.
I do have to get one or two more backups in case one of them gets sick or has to go away.
Yes.
So I'm on the process of doing that. But I just want to summarize real quick what we talked about 2 weeks ago. Caretaking is a very hard job.
Yes.
Physically, mentally, emotionally. It's important for the caretaker to really take care of themselves. To eat well, to rest well, to sleep well, to take care of their bodies, and make sure they're getting the proper nutrition, and make sure they're getting the rest. Because we learned from a social worker just recently that sometimes caretakers can end up getting sick to take caretaking their parents or loved ones. Some of them end up even worse.
She says she's lost
Yeah.
more caregivers than patients, if that explains it. So it's imperative that we, as caregivers, we take care of our emotionally well-being and our physical well-being. And
Yeah.
that means, you need an hour to go do some workout just to relieve some stress,
If there's some quiet
exercise.
time, this would be a good
Quiet time.
idea, to help as well, and just
And
spend some long time with God.
and even just having someone to talk to. Even there's nothing wrong with going to a psychologist or a pastor or someone that you need to release something, some anxiety and worries to. Someone that's understanding that can help you, because it can lead to depression and anxiety for the caregiver more so even than the patient
And
sometimes.
do something physical, like exercise, like
Exercise
walking,
is good, but
just even going out for meeting a friend for a couple hours for a cup of coffee, just something that just,
get you out of the
get
house.
you out of the house a little bit.
Yeah. My doctor, she'll get on to me. She's like, "You take great care of your mama, but you need to take care of Jenna too." But it's like I'm worried about mama, and I know, and I get out. I mean, I go to lunch with a couple of friends, usually once a week with somebody, but sometimes it may go a couple of weeks. And then if I need to, I'll go by myself, and then I'll sit there and I have a book on my phone and read.
Well, not just for yourself physically, but also mentally you need it as well.
Yeah.
You need that space a little bit.
So,
'Cause, it can really wear on you. And so you gotta be careful with that.
and right now, with the move, trying to handle this packing and moving and all this paperwork, it's like it's got that on me. And Mama's like, "I know you're stressed, but I'm like, I can't, not until we get there, because
And where are you moving to?
just about 5 houses up the road.
Oh, okay.
Will you move? You're in my way.
Look
Yeah,
how
to be
cute.
okay.
How are the kitties going to adjust to that, you think?
I hope they do okay. This one won't be as rushed a move. When I had to move from my other house that I had been there for 50 years,
Yeah.
we had to do it like in one day.
Oh, my God.
So it was like I had stuff in pods, and the pods got moved over here, and I had to like get the cats and kind of throw them in here in the office, and we had to go do the signing of the papers, and then I had to go get more stuff or whatever. But this time it's going to be a little bit better, so I won't have to like rush too bad.
Are you going to use pods again for that, or you got a
No, I got stuff out in the garage right now when we took pictures, and I've got boxes. But the day before closing, I got a friend of mine. Him and his son's gonna come, and we're gonna kind of move like just the light stuff. And then on Friday, we're gonna have like movers come and move the beds and dressers and sofa and chairs and stuff like that.
Well, that sounds good.
So, and then Saturday, I'm hoping I can finish up and then clean so she can start moving in Saturday afternoon.
Well,
So,
we had to move 5 cats, baby. We had to move
And a dog.
4 cats in 5 states.
And 100-year-old woman.
So
yeah, no, I couldn't say.
that's a story in itself.
That
but
was
I'm going to go there right
we
now.
had a we were going from South Georgia. We stopped in Jackson, Mississippi. Where
We stayed
stopped?
over Jackson, Mississippi.
We spent the
Right.
night in Jackson, Mississippi, and then we did the rest of the trip the next day because it was too much for her and the animals too, you know. But we had to get a hotel room. I don't think they knew we had so many animals, but we kept them in the bathroom, so it was okay.
That was an experience. But we made it. They made it, so.
They made
Yeah.
it fun. And you'll do just fine, but it like you say, anything out of the ordinary can create a lot of stress.
Yeah.
A lot of stress. But the most important thing is that you found people to help you that are
Yes.
reliable, you know, and so that takes a lot of weight. I remember the day we moved from South Georgia, I hadn't packed the kitchen cabinets yet, and that, of course, when the mover came, he said that was the first thing they wanted was all the dishes. And
Oh
all that
no.
stuff, and I hadn't even done that. I was leaving that for last, you know. And our yard man happened to be there, and there he was trying to help me. We didn't have enough newspaper to wrap dishes, so he started getting towels and all kinds of things to wrap up the dishes. And he helped us. He helped me pack. I was going to have a breakdown just then.
I hear you.
But it was a blessing for Freddie helping us at that last minute.
Yeah. Movies are fun, I'll tell you that. But
And I'm glad that you everything sounds like it's organized and you're ready to go. And your mother is how she feel about it, leaving her home and all.
Oh well, this one's like no big deal. The other one,
It's harder.
it it was hard on me. I mean, I sat there at the closing table and cried.
Yeah.
But I think she did a little bit better with it, but it was still, I'm sure, hard because
Yeah.
they built that house, so
Yeah.
everything.
You grew up there, so that was.
Yes. Barry said cats don't travel well. Yeah, sometimes they don't travel well, Barry.
They meow the whole time. Can you imagine 5 cats not shutting up?
Oh,
it wasn't that bad. The one that was
Well,
complaining about was the funky.
yeah.
He didn't like the bumps.
The bump. He didn't like the bumps. You know, but we got these cloth carriers, so it was kind of more comfortable for them.
yes.
But not like in those hard crates that they used to have. So they did okay.
Let's see. Jake said, I was a caregiver for my father when my father was living and I was taking care of him. My father passed away February the 7th, 2020 because of alcoholism.
Mhm.
Oh, yes, Jake. Sorry about that.
It is hard. I had a stepmother who was an alcoholic, and it's very hard to try to take care of them, you know, in that situation. And she ended up dying of cirrhosis of the liver, you know, as a result of alcoholism. It was difficult. So I can understand, you know, where he was coming from with that.
It's I want to share a couple of scriptures.
Okay.
I want to share a scripture here that relates to this. It's in 1 Timothy. And I give you some examples in the Bible of people who ended up being caretakers. And I'll point them in a minute. But
Can you hear Joe okay?
Can you hear
Does
me?
he need to get closer?
Yeah, I can hear him. Yes, he's fine.
Okay.
in 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 3, honor widows who are really widows. And Harold happens to be a widow. But if any widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show piety at home and to repay their parents. For this is good and acceptable before the Lord. So, honor is a command to show respect. And in verse 4, 5:4, tells us that the family members are instructed to care for widows, and including those that are physically and including those who are, um, who pretty much they can't take care of themselves anymore. But I'm trying to read his note here real quick. I'm trying to, yeah. Honoring our parents includes caring for them physically and financially as they grow older. In effect, we are returning the time and the energy they gave to us when we were kids. We're giving it back to them.
Yeah.
And there was some individuals who ended up taking care of the parents. Joseph in the book of Genesis. He lived far from Jacob, who was aging. And when Joseph was able to, he arranged for Jacob to move closer to him. And Joseph housed, fed, and protected his father. That's in Genesis chapter 45. And Ruth, story of Ruth, migrated to her mother-in-law's country and worked tirelessly to take care of her. And she's in the book of Ruth. And lo and behold, Jesus, just before he died, he designated a caregiver, John, to his mother, Mary, who was apparently then a widow. With Jesus cross, John, this is your mother, mother, this is your son.
Yeah, behold
So
your mother.
he was assigning John to that duty to watch over his mother.
And John did take care of Mary.
So there are biblical examples of caregiving, and the Bible teaches us to respect our parents and to also honor them and to return what they've given us, what of their sacrifices all these years, raising us, taking care of us, feeding us. Now at a point where they're vulnerable in their lives, they can't take care of themselves. So I think what they'll do, and anybody out there that's caring for a parent, whether or not, God honors that, and I think God kind of expects that. Everybody has different situations financially. Maybe some could afford a nursing home. I'm not saying I'm against nursing homes,
But just go and visit and make sure they're being cared for as they need
but
to.
also be careful of the financial consequences of nursing homes as well. That's why you need,
An
some advice.
elder attorney
You know,
to make sure you have asset protection if they do go into an institution.
and the Bible advises us to seek counselors. And so, use wisdom, apply wisdom in the situation that you're in. Everybody's situation is different. In our situation, nursing home was not going to work, so we had to hire private pay. And so, think about those things, and so whoever's a caregiver, you, Jen, anybody else out there, just know that God honors that, and God cherishes that, and so, and just continue to ask for support and help, and because it can take a toll on you.
Yes.
Yes.
And even my primary care doctor here in Texas, she keeps. She gave me the name of a counseling service, and she said that she's waiting for me to make an appointment because I thought I had to go in person, and I've got so much going on, and the grandchildren, and I'm helping homeschool them, that I didn't know how in the world I was going to find time to go to the counselor. But she said they do it. They'll do it virtually too, so I can do it online. So I said I'll be able to find some time to do versus having to drive there,
Yes.
done and have to come back home again. So I'm going to try to make an appointment with them, and my insurance is going to cover it. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah, they'll cover a certain number of visits, a year. And they'll tell you up front when you tell them what your insurance is, and she felt I really needed it for myself because you have to keep your mind. Some days I feel really depressed. Some days I feel real anxious, depending who's coming and, and what time they're coming and all the different things I have to do. I really feel that I need someone to talk to and just make sure that I'm taking care of my mental health. Because if I'm no good mentally, I'm not going to be good for her. Then
Yes.
because I'm an encourager. She's depressed. She doesn't know. She said, I don't know why I'm still alive. I don't know why God can't just let me die. I mean, when someone says this the first thing in the morning and you're the caregiver and you're going in there and you're trying to encourage them that, God knows when your time is up and He's not done with you yet. And, He loves you and there's a purpose for your life. But, I mean, we need encouragement so we can give them encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just add this too about sometimes the patients we overlook sometimes going to be as kind.
Yes.
So the Bible says to be understanding and forgiving. And it says in Proverbs 19 verse 11, the insight of a man certainly slows down his anger, and it is beauty on his part to overlook an offense. Now, how can we apply that principle? If an elderly parent says something unkind or seems unappreciative of your care, ask yourself, how would I feel if I faced similar limitations and frustrations? When you try to be understanding and forgiving, you avoid making a bad situation worse. And also talks about Proverbs 15:22, to consult others. And it says that plans fail when there is no consultation, which I was saying earlier, a few minutes ago. Plans fail when there is no consultation, but there is accomplishment to many advisors. So seek help.
That's what I'm getting help because I have to
Seek
know.
help. Seek legal help. Seek help any way you
need,
can.
if you need to go to a psychologist, there's nothing wrong with that. We need to take care of ourselves. Otherwise, we're not going to be any good to our patients. And
Yes.
and I'll hear my mom telling these strangers, that come in, my daughter and I never see eye to eye, and I can hear because she talks so loud. I mean, even if I didn't want to hear it, it's blasting, and I'm hearing. Yeah, we've always been the opposites and this and that. And she doesn't, I don't know. I used to make her mad. She'd never tell me what made her mad. She'll be telling these people all this stuff. And so
I got my mom talking to me. Sorry, y'all.
that's okay. But it's so funny, but so it's so cute. But so I would hear it and they'd come out and say, I said, it's okay. I said, she tells everybody the same thing. But we've been together. It's not my real mom. She's my adoptive mom. But I said, we've been together since I was 12 years old. So I said, I'll tell you what makes me mad when she only tells me the bad things I did in my life, and she doesn't compliment the good things. So I said, that's why I get mad at her, but that's the only reason. If she would bring up some of the good things I've done, I'd be fine. But
Yes.
she remembers all the negative stuff. And I don't want to hear what I did at 12 years old, or I said this or I did that. You know, we make a lot of mistakes growing up as kids. And so I
Yes.
don't want to be reminded of it all. And she'll remember that stuff, but she won't remember yesterday or a couple hours ago, when I tell her something.
Yes.
Got a message from Jake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake said, I just want to say thank you guys. You guys are doing some great work. I've been sober for 6 years because of my dad's passing. I stopped drinking with my dad passed. Love you guys. We love you too, Jake.
Thank you,
We
Jake.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. That
6
is a
years.
blessing.
Yes.
You're forging ahead.
Yeah, that is wonderful. You broke the curse,
But
because
also,
that's what
again,
it is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay.
Uh,
I wanted to just mention that my brother, alcoholism can run in all families, and we did have alcoholics, and my mother's brother was an alcoholic, and it did run in our side of the family. And my father he spent all his time at the bar when he wasn't working. I don't know, he was probably an alcoholic, but he was a functional alcoholic where he could actually work and do his job, and then he'd spend the rest of the night at the bar before he went home and went to bed. Um, but my brother became an alcoholic, and I swore that I would never drink to a point like my stepmother, that she was drunk all the time, that I'd have to go buy her a bottle of Four Roses and have the man at the liquor store walk me home so he could give it to her. She'd let me in the house. She wouldn't let me in if I didn't have the Four Roses. And she eventually died. I was taking care of her from 9 to 12, and it was really hard. But my brother, unfortunately, with the things he experienced, he went to drinking with it, and he never actually was able to get through this. I guess the 12-step program. He would always leave before the end of it. Look at her. So,
Okay.
but it is. Look at her. That's, we understand that part. But I just wanted to mention with the alcoholism, um, he was really a smart person. He was a good person, but I believe the alcoholism was because he did things growing up that he couldn't forgive himself, and it was trying to forget all the things that happened and the difficult childhood and all that.
Yes.
I just wish that I would have known then what Joe and I know now through, studying, and how to help people that are going through trauma. All I knew to do was to pray for him, but I never knew really what to say, other than I loved him, and but I know I'll see him again one day, and I know he's up in heaven, and I will have a reunion up there.
Yes.
Well, thank you for the root of, well, we've discussed it many times, but I think the root of Father's problem was unforgiveness. And I think that we could talk about that in another session. But um, I'm not sure if we even finished talking about unforgiveness when we did it a month or two ago, but
Yeah.
well, we could tackle that another day. But yeah, like I said, that just make sure you got your legal issues, not just the caretaker issues, but make sure that you're getting advice, legal advice, especially when dealing with nursing homes. And be careful that you don't lose a part of your home.
Yes.
So be careful with that.
And with your property and
What about
things,
the?
I know with any assets, you have to be sure that they're
Oh, I didn't know
protected.
one.
Oh, we've got the little one looks like our Belle.
She
She's
does.
tiny like Belle.
She does.
Yeah, but it's you're going to see an attorney. Just make sure that you have all the legal papers that you need, for your mom and for yourself. That is
Yes.
protecting your assets. You know,
Yeah,
when
Mama and Daddy did that way back when, and then when he passed, we updated Mama's
okay,
and stuff. So hopefully it's all. Cause since it's just me, but then if
yeah.
something happened to me or whatever, then it falls on my cousin. But
Yeah.
no.
It's good that she's taking care of all that. And a lot of people don't even think about it. And then, unexpectedly, someone may pass and they're not really prepared.
Yes.
But your mom, she's still, I mean, she's not bedridden or anything. She's still walking around and doing
No.
it.
Yeah, I make her use a rollator everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's good. Yeah.
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 And my mom, Josephine, she used the walker, up until Christmas Eve when she collapsed with that.
get it. Leave it alone.
Oh my goodness. They want to be part of the podcast. Isn't that? Is that
There's a moth on the ceiling too.
oh,
So
fascinating.
Oh,
Is that a boy or girl?
it's a boy.
Okay. Look at it. Look at it. He's very handsome. Look at well, at least he's doing his job.
he's got his eyes fixed up there, that's for sure.
Well, look at him. Look cute. That's adorable. But Joe's and his family, his mother, they had to put his father in a nursing home. I think was he due to some dementia issues? Do you remember what?
This is how he had some dementia issues.
I think he became too difficult for Joe's mother to handle, and he had been a very independent person, and they had to put him in there, and
They well, they didn't have a house, so they rented an apartment. So they, in terms of,
she was able to get Medicaid right away,
yeah,
and she didn't have to worry about them taking any assets because they were only renting. They didn't own any personal property.
Yes.
So she didn't have the financial worries about that. Uh, and she lived alone in her apartment until she got sick and passed. Wasn't long after the COVID was over that his mom had cancer and we didn't realize she had cancer. And unfortunately, by then she passed pretty quickly. And, but she was good. I think that his sister was going to be taking her in, uh, into her home and preparing her home before that happened. She was getting ready to do it, but it didn't. She never was able to get there and then passed pretty quickly. But it was hard, especially hard for us here.
Mm. The word here also I missed in 5:8. Um, Timothy, 1 Timothy 5:8. Kind of a very harsh word. But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Ouch. and, um, and Paul's illustrating for us how adult children take care of their family members. He drives home this point by saying that even the unbelievers of the time understood the importance of taking care of their own families. And so that's a pretty strong statement there.
Yes.
Well,
But back in those days, I mean, extended families did live together. You know what I mean? And some people do still today. I think it was pretty popular. I think it was like in the Italian families.
yeah,
It was very common for, grandparents to live in with the family and help take care of the grandchildren. They all lived in one house, a larger house or something. But that's, I think, we used to have with generations living together. But I don't know when it started splitting and everybody kind of going their own way. And, that kind of ended and people living in one part of the country and their families in the other. That back in the days, especially in New York and that Italian German neighborhood where Joe and I grew up, I mean, there was a lot of, extended families all living together.
Yeah, my great grandmother lived with my mom and her two sisters and my granddaddy and my grandmother, and so there were six of them in the house, and then my granddaddy he passed away at a very early age, like early 50s, with a heart attack back then. So then it was just all the girls.
I came across some more scriptures of how the Bible shows us how caregiving is a means of serving God and sharing His love. 1 John 3:17 says, "For whoever has the world's goods and beholds his brother in need and closes his heart against him, how does the love of God abide in him?" And Philippians 2:4 so do not merely look out for your own personal interest, but also for the interests of others. In Galatians 6:10, "So then, while we have opportunity, let us do good to all men, and especially to those who are of the household of the faith." Matthew 5, which we talked about last week or two ago, salt and light, Matthew 5:13 and 16. "You are the salt of the earth, but if the salt has become tasteless, how will it be made salty again? It is good for nothing anymore, except to be thrown out and trampled underfoot by men. You are the light of the world. The city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Nor do men light a lamp and put it under the peck measure, but on the lampstand, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven." 1 Peter 5:7, "God cares for you, casting all your anxiety upon Him, because He cares for you." And in Hebrews 6:10, "God sees what you do, for God is not unjust so as to forget your work and the love which you have shown toward His name, and having ministered and still ministering to the saints." Galatians 6:2, "Bear one another's burdens and thus fulfill the law of Christ." And at John 13:34 and 35, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Even if I give to you a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another, even as I have loved you, that you also love one another. Of this all men will know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one another." And here's an example of caregiving in Luke 10, verses 30 and 35. Jesus replied and said, a certain man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and he fell among robbers, and they stripped him and beat him and went off, leaving him half dead. And by chance, a certain priest was going down on the road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. And likewise, a Levite also, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a certain Samaritan who was on a journey came upon him, and when he saw him, he felt compassion and came to him and bandaged up his wounds, pouring oil and wine on him. And he put him on his own beast and brought him to an inn and took care of him. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper and said, take care of him. Whatever you spend, when I return, I will repay you. So this examples of caregiving in some way, somehow in the Bible, and God's word tells us. And so to all you caregivers out there, including the present ones who are on the screen and in person, I salute you. And God is also really pleased and honored, and so you're doing a good thing under the sight of God. I know it's sacrificial. That's what love is, sacrificial.
Yes.
And I think we want to know that when our time comes, and if we make it to 100, like my mom has made it to 100, that there would be, you know, a son or a daughter-in-law or grandchildren that would look after us, you know, in our old age. That God would bless us with that as well. You know, we wouldn't be abandoned or, you know, alone in some place. You know.
Yes. I guess my cats are gonna have to take care of me because they all I have.
Well, I'm sure God will provide someone else by then. I'm sure that there will be someone special. But they can't be allergic to cats. Like I told Joe when I met him, he was allergic to cats. I said, they were here before you, and if you want to still be with me, you'll have to start taking the allergy medicine.
That's right.
Over the years, I think God healed me from an allergy. They don't bother me no more. And,
They bothered him pretty bad in the
yeah, in the
beginning.
early days, yeah, they don't bother me no more. I think God healed me from that, and so I became a kitty cat father.
And then now he's rescuing cats. That's a
Yeah.
far cry from how he started
And,
off, you know.
You know,
That's
it's
funny.
just, it's funny how things change and turn around.
He fell in love with them. He saw how special they are.
Yes.
I see he's still looking over there. He's still on duty.
I know it's still up there. It ain't moved. So I don't know. There's something in this room that a package or something that brought in some eggs and it hatched out little worms and then they're hatching out to little moths because there's been a ton of
Wow.
them. So they've
Yeah,
had a time.
We were noticing things in the garage that spiders and stuff are starting to move in. It's springtime. And
Yeah, I bought some spray
we
today.
gotta
Sprayed
get
my
some
garage, and
spray.
it's getting to be that time.
But we have to do stuff that's not going to be dangerous to the animals. So
Yes.
we try to be careful what we do, so it wouldn't be harmful.
Well, I guess to summarize what we talked about tonight, number one, God is pleased with those who are taking care of their loved ones. 2, take good care of yourself, physically, emotionally, mentally. Do what you gotta
Yes.
Okay, give yourself some space. Even if you have to bring somebody over for an hour or two just for you to get away, do that.
Yeah.
You know, and whether you like to exercise or walk, go to the park, whatever it is you enjoy doing, do it. Even if you want to go out to a movie for a couple hours, do that. You know, and if you're dealing with nursing homes, make sure you hire an attorney who specializes in elder care and asset protection. And make sure that you're covered, that you won't lose half part of your home.
Yes.
Be careful of that, because there might be some missing things, there might be some documents that need to be recorded, or may need to be filled out or something just to protect yourself.
And every state is different. You know, Georgia was different than Texas, so you have to know the laws in the state that you're living and make sure everything's up to speed with that.
Absolutely.
Here we were disappointed in Texas in some respects. In Georgia, I think in terms of Medicaid or you know, if your family member may need to be in a nursing home for, say, a short period of time, say up to 6 months. Apparently, they did not put a lien on your property in Georgia until a day after 6 months. So if
Uh-huh.
you have someone that maybe just needs to go to rehab or something for maybe 3 months or whatever, you know, after surgery, that they can't put a lien on your home for that. But I think in Georgia it was 6 months a stay. This is what the nursing homes told us. Um,
Hmm.
that one day after 6 months they could start putting the lien on any asset, any property that's in your name, in the family member's name. So you know, I that's why I thought I could have gotten a little more help here with my mom, especially when I went in for surgery. But they do it from day one. You have to pay up front here. They don't accept. They would accept Medicaid, but because my mom's name she's a third owner on the property in Georgia and a third owner on this one because this was a bridge loan for a house in Texas, so her name had to still be on it. They can actually put a lien on the house we're trying to sell in Georgia. And
Oh goodness.
yeah, if we had to place her somewhere. So we were recommended, and it was way cheaper, even hiring outside help out of pocket to keep her in the home and just have people come while I'm incapacitated at the moment and can't really do any lifting or anything, than to try to put her anywhere because they take your property immediately in Texas.
Even so, which we mentioned on the last show 2 weeks ago, even so the will says I'm leaving my house to my daughter, my son,
Mm-hmm.
you still have to go to probate. If you don't
Yes.
have proper documentation, you guys want to avoid that, and also to be sure that if the name is on the deed, you know, they have, this one has the right to take part of that. So that's what I'm saying, be careful, make sure you
Yeah. My
covered legally.
my name is on everything. Um.
And if they have money in an account, move the money out somewhere else. You
Yeah,
know,
take it out of your third person's name because they will draw on all the assets before they get
whatever,
the
whatever,
Medicaid,
whatever asset they got, they're going to draw on it.
whether it's cash
So
in
you
the
got to
bank
protect it.
or it's a property. They will take everything that person owns before they'll give them
They're
Medicaid.
like vultures.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
and
That's what I mean. I'm hoping because, I mean, like the other house, they already knew about the like 5 year thing. You know, it had to be in somebody else's name for 5 years for
yeah,
my grandmother and stuff. So they had already gone and like had it in my name,
right,
like years ago,
yeah,
and they just had it like had mama like a state person or whatever.
yeah,
And then when we was moving, it was like, okay, now how are we gonna do it? And it was supposed to be my name first and then hers, but then they had it on the property taxes, her name first. No, it was supposed to be in her name because we was trying to get cheaper property taxes.
right,
Because we were like, well, when she did pass away, I wasn't gonna stay in the house anyway. It would be sold because I don't have no money. So this was gonna be my livelihood is selling the house.
right.
And so, but that didn't help us none on property taxes because now they've upped the money. They lessen the money of what you can make, and she makes over that. So that screwed us.
Oh my goodness.
And so now with us moving again, um, both our names are still on the house, but it's crazy because our property taxes are awful here. And
You
Are
know
you
better either.
no? Where you're in up in northern Georgia? Or where are you?
yeah, I'm in Northwest Georgia.
Okay, yeah. I know it's way more than it is in the southwest where we were. But yeah, they give you that discount. Um, we were taking it in Georgia because we're all seniors. All three of us were seniors. So we took it there as we weren't allowed to take it in Texas because you can only take it in one state.
Yeah.
So we had a huge tax bill here. You know, like $7,000. I mean, it was outrageous.
And you know what? It even said on the paperwork, if you have a homestead exemption in a state, Texas, if you lie, Texas they'll let you put you in jail.
They'll put
Oh
you
Lord.
down. They're very
I don't play
serious.
here.
Yeah, we found that out. So, but we didn't know. I mean, this is all a learning process. So we feel like, well, whatever we learned, we want to share with everyone so that they can look out for their interests and their family.
Yes.
Sure that they get to keep the assets of their parents, you know, any funds, any property, and that it doesn't go to the government.
Yes. I know. It's just ugh. So
But I hope that people will ask questions and maybe we can, answer them at the next time we come on if they have any other concerns about, taking care of a loved one in the home and what happens, when you need to put them somewhere you know, and if there's anything we can do to help, we'd be happy to.
yes. So if y'all have any questions, like email us and we can put them up for next week and get them answered for you. And we
And
appreciate everybody being on.
Yes, thank you.
we thank you. And anyone that has a personal question or might just need to talk to somebody, Joe and I are available. Just contact us through the website. And we'll be
Yes,
happy
an
to,
email.
on our email.
Yeah, I got to get y'all's email up there. I couldn't remember what it was. Tell me that again, Joe.
It was 11 Doors Ministries at gmail.com. Not ministries.
Yes. I thought that's what it was, but I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
because I messed everything up. Rob said I didn't, but while he was gone last week, my computer decided not to do this, and I just had a mess. So we've had to fix all of the EV mugs. So all of our banners have had to be redone. So
Well,
if one of y'all want to lead us out with prayer, we can start wrapping it up and.
It's got topics close to you.
Huh?
You want to pray? This topic's kind of close to you.
okay, I will.
Mhm.
Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time together, Lord. I pray that we were able to pass information on to others listening that would be helpful, Father, for them and for their loved ones, Father, and that would give them strategy and a plan on what they need to do as caregivers. And I pray, Lord, that each one who is a caregiver, Lord, would take care of themselves and not neglect themselves, Father. That they would take care of their mental health needs, that they would take care of their physical health, Lord, and that they would get the emotional support through other people or through their church that they need, Father, to keep going. And Lord, I pray for each and every one and all the family members that are being cared for, Lord, that you would give them peace, Lord, that you would give them comfort, Lord, and that you would bless each and every one listening to this podcast today, Lord, and meet every need in their lives, Lord. And we give you all the praise and all the glory, Lord, and all the thanks. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Well, thank y'all once again.
Say a little prayer quickly for Robert.
Yes.
We pray, Father, for Robert. He'll recover quickly and feel better and be back on the air tomorrow. Give him the rest that he needs, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Yes. So,
Okay, so thank you, Jen, for having this tonight and
you're welcome.
being a wonderful hostess.
We thank the cats too for making an appearance.
Yeah, tell the cats we enjoyed their
Yes.
show. And
I got one over there asleep on the box. So,
and it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure doing the show with you.
yes, y'all too. So, I will cover us up and go out with music while I shut everything down, y'all. So.
All right.
Do you have another show after this?
So, yes, at 8 o'clock. He's supposed to come on with me at 8. So,
I hope
but,
we'll up to it.
we'll
I'll
see.
still be there.
Hope you make it. So,
God
have a
bless.
wonderful night. God bless you all. Thank you all for watching. And
Thank
we'll
you,
see you on
everybody.
Monday Bible study.
See you
Yes,
tomorrow.
Monday Bible study at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yes, we'll continue in Matthew.
That's right. So, we'll see y'all Monday.
Okay.
Take care, y'all.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye.
God
Y'all
bless
do.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Sure.